Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another episode of Soundout's Toy Chest. See, I said to be back next week, and here we are. Today's clue is the Age of Legends. Now, what could that mean? Well, it could mean a lot of things. I could be talking about all sorts of stuff, things to do with ages, things to do with legends, or I could be taking a look at Marvel Legends Age of Ultron Wave. And I'm calling this the Age of Ultron wave only because 3 of the figures, possibly 4, are Age of Ultron based figures. And since the movie is coming out Friday, May 1st, after this video, I thought, hey, why not? Let's review the Avengers 2015 Wave 2 Marvel Legends, or as I like to call it, the Thanos wave, because Thanos is the Build-A-Figure. Now, for this review, I'm going to bring back an old style of video I used to do, which was the Soundout Roulette review. It's how I reviewed a whole wave of figures in one video without just taking 45 minutes. Yeah, sorry for the length of the Deca Driver review. But, without further ado, let's take a look at the Thanos wave of Marvel Legends. Here's what the box looks like. The first figure in the line is the Iron Man Mark 43. Now this is a repaint of the Iron Man Mark 42 from Iron Man 3, which I have an SH figure of, not the Marvel Legends, but they're close to the same size. But yeah, it's very similar design. I think there might be some minor retooling, but overall the figure looks really good. It is based on the movie, and the red and gold looks better than the gold and red, I guess. It's a neat design. I always liked the shape of the armor. I always thought the prominent gold on the 42 was a little much. But he does have quite a bit of articulation in that he has a ball joint neck with a hinge swivel, universal shoulder joints, bicep sole, double joint elbows, a wrist joint with a rotation and a bend. He's got an upper ab joint, universal hip joints, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, a forward and back ankle pivot, and a left and right ankle tilt. So he can have all the poses you'd really like with him. He's got one open hand and one fist, so that works pretty well. No alternate hands on this guy, but he does come with an alternate head. And that alternate head is his face mask open, so you can see Tony Stark's face under there. Which is not a bad likeness, but he is looking up, and his mask is kind of covering his eyes in positions. That's a decent head sculpt. I do appreciate this inclusion. But if I had the choice, I'd kind of want more hands than a Tony Stark head. But it is neat considering how much, the face mask is open on the Avengers Age of Ultron posters. Next in the series is Hulk. Now, Hulk is gigantic. He is perfectly scaled, and he's a retool of the Hulk released in the Walmart exclusive Avengers line, which I was never able to find that Hulk, and I was sad because I couldn't find him. I only found a Loki from that wave. And, of course, Iron Man and Captain America, who were pretty much everywhere. But I only found Loki of the good figures. Now, this is the new updated Avengers Age of Ultron design, so I think he has a new head, and he definitely has new pants with cool Avengers logos on the sides. He's a really neat figure, and he's got a ton of articulation, which makes up for him not coming with any accessories. He's also gigantic, because here he is next to Tony Stark, who, is smaller, and they're the same price, which is really cool. But he does have a ball joint neck, forward and back neck joint, universal shoulder joints, bicep swivel, double joint elbow, a rotating wrist, a pivoting wrist, a upper ab ball joint, a outward hip movement, forward hip movement, ball jointed, or not ball jointed, it's a ball socket, but then you have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, ankle forward and back pivot, and ankle left and right tilt. So that's really cool. He's super articulated and super fun. The third figure is Captain America, who's surprisingly 1 per case. I was shocked to find this out. After looking at the case, there was only 1 Captain America. Thought Hasbro was going to do their typical, we're going to put a bunch of the same character in cases. But no, he's pretty neat. He uses some parts from the Captain America Winter Soldier stealth suit Captain America. And I believe it's mostly just the head, the hands, and the shield. Except now it's all Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm sure some of the other parts he used, I don't own that figure as well. Which is good, because this is all a new experience for me. Now he comes with a dramatically pointing hand and a fist. But he also comes with another fist and a karate chop-ish hand. So that's pretty neat. He also does come with an alternate head, just like Iron Man had an alternate head. But the alternate head is a little underwhelming. Oh, before we go on to that, I should mention he has the same articulation as Iron Man and Hulk. Nothing is restricted. It's the same joints, which is really nice. Makes my job easy. And we get an unmasked Steve Rogers head, which I believe is the same head from the other Winter Soldier Captain America, but it somehow looks more like the actor, especially from like that angle. At certain angles, it looks like Chris Evans. At others, it looks nothing like him. It is a weird head sculpt that doesn't quite have the likeness. Yeah, it's kind of strange. But it is a neat inclusion considering how little Captain America actually wears his mask. The fourth figure is Batroc the Leaper, and I really applaud Hasbro with this wave as it is half distinctly Avengers Age of Ultron and half comic book. So if you are a fan of the comic book style Marvel Legends and you collect those, you get 3 new figures to add to your collection instead of just having to add movie versions. Kind of like how the Guardians wave had 2 new figures that were comic style. But here's Batroc, who I'm not sure ever had a Marvel Legends release. He uses the skinnier body mold that I've seen on a few figures, and he looks really good. I know the character from Ultimate Spider-Man's TV show, where he's kind of a joke villain. He's apparently really awesome in the comics, and he's got this nice gold plastic that hopefully is not gold plastic syndrome plastic, but we will see if Batroc's like crotch explodes in 10 years or something. But he is a neat figure. He has the universal articulation that the other figures had, except he does have an ab crunch instead of a ball joint. That's fine by me. That gives him a little bit more range. But he does have a lot of cool posing options, and I think he's a great figure and a good representation of the character. Next up is Figure 5, which is Hellcat. Now, Hellcat was an Avengers character back in the 80s, I believe, or 90s. I'm not exactly sure. My Marvel history is a little rough on dates and such, but I do know who she is, which is pretty neat. I do like the figure quite a bit. She is the easier to find of the 2 female figures of the wave, probably because the other one's Spider-Woman, and she brings a little bit more namesake to her. But Hellcat's really cool. I do like the figure. She's got a neat weapon, as you can see. It does split in 2 for dual-wielding action, but her other hand isn't as closed, so it's kind of hard for her to hold it. But the nice little sash piece is the same one from the Iron Fist from the last wave, and overall the figure looks great. Plus, she's got the same articulation as Batroc, except she doesn't have double-jointed elbows and doesn't have bicep swivels. So it's pretty much close to the same articulation, but not exactly. It's a great female body mold, though. I'm really impressed with it. I like it better than the Winter Soldier Black Widow or even the Black Cat body mold. This is a great figure, and it's a good base for any female Marvel heroes you might want to customize. Yeah, Hellcat's really cool. I really do dig her. Here's the figure everyone's looking for. This seems to be the most popular figure of the wave, based on Amazon prices, and that is Spider-Woman. She is a variant to Hellcat, which means they come with the same Build-A-Figure piece, unlike the variants in the Spider-Man wave, where Spider-Girl and Ultimate Spider-Woman have different Build-A-Figure pieces. Or Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel have different Build-A-Figure pieces. It's really weird the way that they're doing these characters. They'll team them up with the same name, but then they won't be variants like in the Spider-Man wave. But then in this wave, there's a variant straight up, and the other wave, they provide variant Build-A-Figure pieces. But Spider-Woman looks great. It is the classic Jessica Drew costume design that just got swapped out about a month or so ago in the comics. After like 10 years of the same costume, she changed it right after Hasbro was like, we're going to put a figure out of her. Alas, that's just how Hasbro production cycles work. But she is a great figure. She has the same body mold as Hellcat, which is a really strong body mold. The figure looks great. It looks well proportioned for a female superhero action figure, better than most. And she's got the cool spider wings, which are really neat. But what's also neat is she does come with a couple accessories, which are alternate parts for her. And these alternate parts are alternate wings that peg into her arms that are relaxed, so you can have her arms not splayed out to the side. They work really well. It's a great effect. I do like the way it looks, and it does allow for her to have more natural poses. But yeah, they just peg into her arm and swap out where the wings were. But yeah, Spider-Woman's a great figure. Here he is, the Build-A-Figure Thanos. Now, Thanos here is in a traditional kind of Thanos design. It's a more modern take on this than the like Marvel Select one or the Marvel Legends Thanos from Toy Biz. I'm not so sure if it's fully supposed to be movie Thanos or not. It's kind of Thanos. Thanos is Thanos. He's going to probably fit with my Avengers display just because I don't really have a overall Marvel Cosmic Universe display. I just have some, Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. But Thanos is the big Build-A-Figure, and he is smaller than the Hulk, actually, which is kind of sad, but that is the way it goes, and it is properly scaled approximately, which is nice. Now, he's got a great expression on his face, I gotta say. Plus, I like the one open hand on the one fist. He also has less articulation than the other figures, which is that he has a ball joint neck with a forward and back pivot. He's got universal shoulders, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, wrist pivot, ab crunch joint, maybe a waist joint. It's kind of hard to tell. You got universal hips that are extremely restricted thanks to his skirt. You got a thigh swivel, a double joint knee, a ankle forward and back pivot, and an ankle tilt. But overall, he's really neat, and the best part is he's easy to collect. The hardest figure to find of this wave is Spider-Woman, and she has the same pieces that Hellcat has. So, there you go. And that's pretty much all there is to Thanos. He doesn't do a whole lot more. But for reference, his left leg came with Iron Man, his right leg came with Captain America, his right arm came with Hulk, his left arm came with Hellcat, his head came with Hellcat, Spider-Woman, and then Batroc came with the torso. So, kind of interesting that they didn't go for the 6-figure wave. It's more of a 5-figure wave with a variant for the female figures. And that allows you to have 2 Thanos heads and 2 Thanos right arm, or left arms. Yeah, left arms. 2 left arms and 2 heads. That's what I'm stuck with. Which means I could, recreate, Hamlet with Thanos, which actually is not a bad idea. But, there you go. That's Thanos. I think the creepiest part of this is not necessarily Thanos holding his own head, but more so the expression he has, almost as if he enjoys looking at himself. Both heads are just staring at each other. It's really weird, and now I can't quote, Hamlet, because it just looks so surreal. So I gotta say, I really like this wave overall. The Thanos wave is quite fun to have. I pretty much got the set of 6 because I found them all at Toys R Us in one day, which is pretty neat. And, finding them all at retail kind of made it worth it, more so than trying to pay online prices for sets. But I gotta say that this wave is really solid. You got 3 new comic characters, one of which had a figure a very long time ago, but that old Spider-Woman was garbage. So, you get 3 new comic characters, 3 tie-in movie characters, and a really neat Thanos figure. So, if you are a person that's trying to just collect the Age of Ultron Avengers, and you know someone who's trying to collect Thanos for their comic collection, you could always trade them some parts, which is pretty neat. I do like the separation here that, if the people that want just those 4 figures, they probably know someone that wants just those 3 figures. And I gotta say, I really like the Avengers team from the movies, and I'm really glad that this wave isn't all Avengers Age of Ultron themed, because when you're collecting a toy line, like I collected DC Universe Classics for a long time, up until the end, and every time the Green Lantern Classics line had a movie figure in it, and I was like, it just felt weird, because I had this movie figure, and I didn't really want this movie figure, and I'm glad that, at least for here, you get comic characters and movie characters. It's a nice mix. Now, the thing with the figures is which is my favorite. My favorite is Spider-Woman, because I know the most about her, because I really like Spider-Woman. I do like the Hellcat, and I do like Batroc, and these 3 guys are neat as well. Thanos is pretty cool too. But I gotta say, these 3 are probably my favorites of the wave. They're really fun action figures. So yes, now Hasbro did not leave us out in the cold this time. With the first movie Avengers, we did not get a Black Widow. We didn't get a Black Widow until Captain America Winter Soldier. But for this movie, we are getting a 4-pack later in the year from Amazon that has Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, and Bruce Banner, all from Age of Ultron. So it'll complete this set of main Avengers, and hopefully we'll get a 3-pack with Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Vision. That'd be nice, Hasbro. We're also getting a Hulkbuster later in the year as another wave of figures comes out, and that will be a Build-A-Figure. And we're getting Ultron in an Ant-Man wave. Because... reasons. So, the Age of Ultron of Marvel Legends will still go on, and the comic Marvel Legends will still go on at the same time. I can definitely recommend this wave. It is easy to track down a Thanos, as, well, your hardest two figures to find would be Batroc and Hellcat, because you don't necessarily need Spider-Woman. If you really want Spider-Woman, go ahead and get her. She's great. But these two are needed for parts. Those three are pretty easy to find. So, it's overall an easy way to collect. Anyways, be sure to stay tuned for next week's Soundout's Toy Chest review, which will be something secretive and mysterious. And also check out my normal Soundout reviews on Saturdays and my model kit reviews on Mondays. So anyways, be sure to check out HeroTaku.com for all your Marvel news and more. And Tonks is out saying goodbye.